You got big voice on now.
Good evening. Welcome to the 2015 Northwest Pinball and Arcade Show. I'm Doc. My counterpart is David Shoemaker. And this evening we're going to cover solenoid table and flash lamp matrix. The unit that we have up behind us is out of Bad Cats. For the most part, most solenoid tables and or flash lamp tables are pretty close to the same. It doesn't matter what company made it. The few exceptions would be the brand new stuff by Stern, stuff by Fast Pinball, stuff by Jersey Jack Pinball. The stuff that is just came out within the last year, year and a half. All of your older stuff is all going to pretty much follow a table similar to the one that David is standing next to. Oh. And this can be found in any manual that you have. And we chose Bad Cats just because I had that one laying around. And on this table that covers solenoids and flashers, it tells you the actual locations within the Bad Cats playfield of where they are for solenoids and flashers. The nice thing about this one is it also tells you whether it's on the A side of the relay or the C side of the relay.
So they cheated. That's what it comes down to. They didn't have enough signals to be able to drive all the solenoids they wanted at one time. So they divided things up and they said, okay, we're going to do this side or this side. And they have a relay that selects which side they're going to use. And then, so in this case, they cannot actually drive the garbage can eject and the jackpot flashers at the same time because they run off the same connector, except for the solenoid, the relay. They're running from the same driver transistor, but the AC control is run, let's see, where's that solenoid driven from? I don't see it offhand. But there's a solenoid that will select which of the two. So, as I said, you can't get any two of these. Well, I shouldn't say that. You can get them both to go at once. You've got something badly broken.
Usually it comes with smoke, sometimes fire.
Yeah. So in this case, they've chosen to segment flash lamps on the C side and solenoids on the A side.
90% of the time, your actual solenoids will be on the A side. The C side is mostly reserved for your flash lamps.
So they do that because they actually run at different voltages. The solenoids are run at 50. The flash lamps are run at 12.
25.
25?
Yeah.
25
if they ran at 12,
well, yeah,
the lamps would last longer.
Well, yeah. It wouldn't be as flashy, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Important things to note from this table. This is the connector that on the CPU board, and this actually says CPU board. So 1P11-1, that means board number 1, in this case CPU, P plug number 11, first pin, third pin, fourth pin, so on. The number 2 that's missing is going to be where the key pin is. In this one, 3 is missing. That's your key pin. So, color codes, gray wire, brown stripe or dashes, gray wire all the way down with black, violet, blue, green, yellow, and so on. Same thing with the other wire colors.
Now these wire colors that David has pointed out, these are all going to be the actual ground. Your hot on your solenoids and or flash lamps are going to be the wire colors on the other side. The violet brown, black brown. This is where your actual plus of your power is coming in. All of your solenoids should have power on them as soon as your game is booted up. The power just rests there until that solenoid is selected, and then it's grounded to make it fire.
Let's see. The description of the AC functionality is in here. So if you like, wait, I'm not seeing any voltage on this. Well, it's because it's probably switched to the other side. If you're in self-test, you go to test your flash lamps. The computer should be smart enough to say, oh, you're trying to do flash lamps, it's going to switch the relay to the right place. Quickly, the information on here, fairly important. This is a solenoid number. The AE has to do with the orientation and number of lugs on the solenoid. The 23 is the gauge of magnet wire, 800 is how many turns. If you have a AE 26 1200, don't put it where an AE 23 800 was. Things will not work correctly. Well, they might work, but you're stressing something. When you get down to flippers, so FL flipper 11630/50, this is the number of the actual coil and the voltage that it was designed to run at. These are really important to not just substitute with a random coil. You will cause yourself problems.
There are a few modifications that you can make with a flipper coil, and those are on some of the other websites. Some of them are on like PinWiki, Clay Harrell's site. And what they did is, what those folks did, Clay Harrell and some of the PinWiki folks, is they found that some of the flipper coils are people think they're weak, and they're a little weak on the shots. And so that they put either a heavier or a lighter coil in there, and it's still acceptable.
Williams has a range of 5 different strengths of flipper coil. You can substitute that within reason. Part of the reason for them choosing the ones that they did is they want a solid shot to make it to the top of the playfield, but not bust off a post if it happened to hit it halfway up. If you put in a super strong coil to make that top shot every time, you may bust plastics or drop targets or things like that lower in the playfield.
One of the unique things about the newer pinballs that are being made today, for example, the new Stearns, the New Jersey Jack, the fast pinball, is that they actually have where you can control the strength of the coils on the CPU. It's actually a selection. So I know that in the WAS, the Wizard of Oz, they were having some issues with some parts breaking. Well, that's because the factory setting on that particular coil was too high. And so all you had to do is go into the software and just dial it down to a certain level, made it function properly, and stop breaking the plastic pieces. They also had another coil in the WAS that wasn't firing strong enough at the factory setting. And that one you needed to bump up probably about 15%. And that was, if I remember correctly, up in the winged monkey area, which that's kind of cool because you can actually manipulate the difference of the coil.
So, any questions yet? Yes, Bill, you had a question. Oh, all right.
It's not an auction. You can't put your paddle up.
Okay.
When you experience problems with your flash lamps, I can't say it enough, and I can't emphasize it enough. Check the bulb. Flash lamps are 12-volt bulbs, and we're running them at 25 volts if your system is running perfect. Sometimes they're running at 28 volts. It's a 12-volt bulb. The theory was that, well, we're just going to flash it, so if we just flash it, we can overamp it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much. I have an Elvira in the Party Monsters, and it was out on location, and I happened to be down doing collections, and I was waiting for this gal to get done playing. And so as she's playing, I'm watching it, and I'm listening to it. and the flash lamps aren't working. And I'm like, huh. And of course my wife's going, so what? Yeah, that's a problem. So I took it home, and out of the 26 or 28 flash lamps that it has, all but 2 were blown. It wasn't abused. I didn't have any faulty circuits. It had happened over time. And it had happened over maybe 6 months.
Oh, and those 89s are kind of pricey.
Yeah. They're about 85 cents, 75, 85 cents. The 906s are a little more spendy. The 906 is going to be your wedge-based bulb. The 89 is your bayonet lug bulb. Another thing that is common that happens is when a coil burns out and you lose your driver transistor, sometimes it will also take out the flash lamp. So I just replaced my out kicker because it burned up. I just replaced it, but my fish trash flashers don't work anymore. Well, if you're in the diagnostics and you're in the coil test, it'll show you 1A, because and you could pop that one and it'll just keep knocking that one. And then if you hit it again, it'll go to the 1C and your flash lamp should come. If one or the other doesn't work, one of them's probably been broken and or repaired.
So if you read our general illumination earlier, we mentioned that general illumination is in general always on, unless it's got the capability of being flashed. On this machine, the Bad Cats, here's the playfield general illumination relay that controls the ability for the computer to flash the GI on the playfield, and there's the back box GI. So if your GI is not on at all, here's a place that you can start digging into. Same with the back box.
Generally speaking, that will be 2 different relays. You will have one relay that will control the playfield and one that will control the back box, or the insert. Sometimes it's labeled as insert.
Yeah.
Any other fun stuff?
I was just thinking.
You also have the AC select relay at 12.
Ah, yeah, there's the AC select relay. I knew it was
and
on here somewhere.
that selects which side that you were talking about.
Yeah, that's the selection for the AC. So if you go into test and you try to test the Tiger flasher and the knocker fires, that means that you've got a problem either controlling this relay or in the relay itself. The control circuit might be bad, or the relay may be busted and stuck to one side or the other. You can, in general, hear a relay firing if you're in test mode, because you don't have all the other noise going on, if you're not in the middle of an arcade.
In the Williams System 11 reproduction interconnect boards, which is a board that goes in between your CPU and the cabinet, they have, and this is only in the reproduction boards, they've actually got a little LED on there that tells you whether you're in the A side or the C side. And it's kind of cool, so you don't have to listen for the relay. Sometimes these relays, they're like points in a car, and sometimes they'll weld up and they just stick. And all you need to do is pry them apart. It does happen.
If it's not a sealed relay casing.
Yeah. Most of the time you can crack those without breaking them. If you do break them, those relays run about $13 from Marco Specialties or Bay Area Amusements.
So one thing, a quick troubleshooting. Say our Well, easy. Out-hole kicker. You start the game, everything seems to start up, things are flashing, everything looks good, but no ball. Okay, so looking at the solenoid map, which is what this is called, the solenoid flasher map. So, okay, 1A. That's telling me this is not firing correctly. Item 1A tells you the part number, what its name is. You can then transfer over here, look for 1A, and find what is actually controlling that. In this case, it actually says 01A, just to make things a little bit more interesting because they can't be consistent.
Of course not.
And the 3 is the note. It's not part of the number. That gives you the ability to look at the wire colors for the control, violet brown and gray brown. It tells you what connectors are used. It tells you what the part number is, and then the driver transistor. So you can go checking back through the wiring, back up to the actual back box, and find that, oh wait, my driver transistor has gone bad. Well, that's not the most common failure in this case. The most common failure is, oh, that wire broke loose again. I'd say 95% of the time I've got a bad solenoid, it's a broken wire.
Well, there's also the fact that a lot of these solenoids are daisy chained together as far as the positive. And so you might have a white wire with purple dash go from this solenoid to this solenoid to this solenoid. And one of the two of those two has broken. And so you've got it before, but not after.
Questions? Interactive session, really? Heckling? Come on, is anybody else awake?
No, David Thiel is not here to heckle. He's just a good dude.
All right, all right.
Just a good dude.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying, doing a good job.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
Well, I have a question when you were talking about the flasher bulbs burning out and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have
Yep.
any recommendations, like, I mean, with LED flashes?
Depends on the machine.
Yes.
My Adams, I can't get LED flashes for it. They haven't started producing them yet. Well, I should check this year. They hadn't last year when I went looking for them, just because it was a little bit of an oddball number and nobody started ramping up production for them. You can do it. Some people, well, we can go down the whole long road of lead versus not lead and the religion and all that. If they look okay to you, use them. They're going to probably be more consistent in the long run.
I have LED flashers in my Elvira. Well, I did have. And it wasn't in all of them. It was only in some of them. And do they last longer? Not yet. Do they burn out any faster? No, not really. It is getting harder to find 89s. 906s seem to be plentiful. 89s, which is a bayonet lug and the most common, seem to be getting a little bit harder to find.
So 12-volt bulbs were really, really commonly used in turn signals. Notice the last time you saw a bulb in a car, it doesn't happen much anymore. So production of those things has ramped down considerably. Pinball is about the only place they're still used. And it's just like video games and picture tubes. They're going the way of the dodo. Now, one thing with LEDs, you have the actual LED element, you have a little circuit board, you have a couple of adapter boards, you might have a capacitor on there, so you got a lot of little solder joints that can crack from vibration. Pinballs love to generate vibration. It's what we all like about feeling it. That's the part that kills those things.
No more shaker motor for you.
I'm not the one who gets nauseous.
Mm-hmm. So most pinball bulbs, whether they be the general illumination, the feature lamps, or the flashers, oddly enough, are still available at most auto parts stores. I wouldn't buy them there because for a pack of 2, you're going to pay $8. Probably the best place to buy pinball bulbs, hands down, would be Pinball Life. Those folks have they must have bought the stock out of China, because they are passing it on to the community. They really are. I think it was $750 or $7.99 for 100 of the number 44 or 47 incandescent bulbs. Most places.
Now these are generic bulbs, white
Yep.
box, not Echoes or GEs, which you can still find, but they're going to charge you a bunch more.
Most bulbs in the GEs or the Echoes in a 10-pack box, generally speaking, run you about $250. And that's $250 for a pack of 10. That still beats $8 at the local auto parts store for 2.
If you have a bad bulb, you might as well buy at least a pack of 10, if not a pack of 100, because you've got a pinball machine. It's full of bulbs. You can have more bad later.
I was talking with a guy today about a Paragon.
Yeah.
Paragon, most people don't realize it has something like 110 bayonet lug bulbs in it. Paragon from 1978. Pally? Yeah.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Oh, you will replace a lot of bulbs in your life. And if you own 15 pinball machines, you buy them by the thousand. Anything else? Any questions? Somebody. Interactive.
Hey, it's all good.
Okay.
Well, with
Must
that,
have-
let's prep up and move on to the next set.
All right. And that would be Bill.